Good morning and welcome to Hacking Self Stories. This morning we are analysing Mansfield. So, as you know, at the end of every year, I like to look at the figures and analyse it. I like to look at the figures on a daily basis, really, but especially quarterly and then yearly, so we can make some decisions. And obviously, I don't advise you make decisions just on a yearly basis, but I like looking back over the year and what's been successful and what hasn't. And ultimately, Mansfield has stood out as a massively successful site. And so I wanted to analyze and think, okay, what are the reasons? Why has Mansfield been so successful? It has been without doubt our best performing site that we've ever opened. Willoughby was a great site. Clough Road started slowly and it's all right. Wrexham has done good, but we acquired that one. Glasgow started okay, well, good. Um, what else? Obviously, the Beverley site never ever started anywhere near like this. Um, and so I want to try and understand what we did differently. Yes, we did a leaflet drop with a QR code, so we could track how many people went to that exact landing page because it had its own landing page. Um, we had our website up nice and early, so we was getting leads before we opened. We was doing pay per clicks 2 months before we opened. So all that definitely helps, definitely adds up, but it's not the fundamentals. So what were the fundamentals? Because that is just, I wouldn't say normal, but I wouldn't say we did anything special. A leaflet drop, um, doing your PPC 2 months before you open, getting a website up nice and early so Google could crawl it so we're ranking SEO. I don't think that's groundbreaking. I think I don't think that makes or breaks a site. Can it help? Obviously, it can help. Should you do it? Of course, you should do it. But would it would it be the reason we got such a great start? No. Is our sales process now better than when we opened Willoughby? When we're better than we opened anywhere else? Yes, obviously. Um, but it's it's not going to make such a massive difference. So I wanted to do a deep dive. One for me, and obviously I get so many questions about Mansfield. Why is Mansfield work so well? At the minute, if we multiply our MRR by 12, so monthly recurring revenue, what we're hitting now, we're hitting £400,000 a year at at um at Mansfield, and we haven't been open that long, which is absolutely terrific. What is it? Um, 12, 13, 14 months, maybe 14 months. So yeah, it's a really, really fantastic site. 14 months, I'm trying to think, 14, 15 months, somewhere on there. And so it's an amazing site. And I wanted to try and break down the fundamental reasons. And there's nothing groundbreaking. This is a great thing. This is why it's replicable. Replicable? I think that's the word. This is why we can do it again and again and again. We just have to be patient and find the right area. Nothing is groundbreaking. So number one, I've listed three reasons why it was so good. Mansfield, pure and simply, we did our research and it was underserviced. Mansfield has a population of around about 100,000, a little bit more, but it had less than 60,000 square foot of self storage per person. Don't get me wrong, there's more people open in Mansfield now, which is not great, obviously, um, but we found an underserviced town that couldn't, that didn't, that could have easily had another self storage come in there. So it had less than one square foot per capita because I always work on 1 square foot per capita now. So 100,000 population, is it less than 100 square foot available in that area? And if the answer is yes, then it's underserviced. But don't forget to add on your square footage as well. So, for example, if we're bringing 30,000 square foot to the market, then we've got to say, right, 60,000 square foot is available right now, plus 30, and that's still under the 1 square foot per capita. So it was underserviced. By the way, Mansfield is not underserviced now. Stay away. It is overserviced. There's too many operators, so stay away. So that's number one. Pure and simply, it was underserviced. So that honestly, I remember the exact day and the time when I realised that formula, that part of the jigsaw that made a good site. And it was Gavin Shields. I was on the phone with Gavin, and this was years and years and years ago. This is when Stora was just an idea. And Gavin was talking to me, telling me about it. And he actually said to me, Dean, Self-storage is simple. All you do is find underserviced towns and you open them. I was like, tell me more, Gavin. What do you mean underserviced? And he goes, well, the average square foot is what was it then? 0.72. So 0. Zero point 0.7 per capita. So if you had a population of 20,000 that needed 14,000 square foot of self-storage, I was like, yeah. And he goes, well, if you found a location that, is 10,000, a town with 10,000 or 20,000, and it has less than 0.7 square foot per person, then just open there. And all of a sudden I was like, I just never really thought about it like that. I never ever thought about it. I was like, Dean, you idiot! Why didn't you think about it like that? And we've already opened Willoughby, by the way. And Willoughby was it just worked. We just got lucky. It was under service. We opened. It was very, 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 very lucky. So you've got to be lucky in life as well. I would rather be lucky than good because I am certainly not the best, but I'm certainly lucky. And Willoughby it worked. It was fantastic. And so as soon as he said that, I thought, right, that's it. Yeah, changed the way I did everything, changed the way I thought about it. And I got my VA to do a list of every town. And I thought, right, list every town by county. So I want the counties and I want every town in there. And I want the population and I want the amount of square foot. I want all the storages in there. And I want you to list them by that. And I just went through, just kept going through them. And on Friday, hopefully we can announce a new site. It might not be on the podcast tomorrow because I'm recording Fridays before Friday, but I will hopefully be putting it on LinkedIn, my new site. So yeah, really excited about that. And it's under service. It's got a population of, I can't remember now. I think it's around about 70,000. And I'm in purposely vague, so you can't find it and nick my deal right from under my feet. Although we are so far down the road now, I don't think that that someone can nick it. Somebody tried to do a me, by the way, as well. Somebody tried to come over me. Like I told you the other day about Glasgow, that I offered more than the last person and said, look, let's get it done really quickly. Somebody tried to do that to my landlady, and she was already at heads of terms with me. And she says, no, it's okay. I'm staying with Dean. I like him. I trust him. And we've got so far down the road. I'm like, oh my God, thank you for that. And she didn't tell me. The agent told me. And then she's later confirmed it. So interested. Anyway, so that's number one is the square foot per capita. Let's make sure that we're opening in under-serviced locations. There's no point opening over-serviced locations. I was talking to somebody the other day about Clough Road, and I was saying that I don't mind competing against educated self-storage operators. It's the uneducated self-storage operators that I worry about. For example, Clough Road. If anybody opened in Clough Road now, they'd be uneducated or around Clough Road because it is so saturated. It's the most saturated of all our sites. And we find it a lot more difficult to work or to do anything with Clough Road because it's so saturated. The conversions are lower than anywhere else in our whole company, and that's because it's saturated. So if somebody came into, I don't know, if I opened in, I don't try to think of somewhere, London, and I knew my 3 mile radius was undersaturated, and somebody else come in or under service, if you like, I wouldn't mind because then I think, well, there's enough for all of us to go around. It's when it's over service that we don't want added pressure because then it's not good for me. It's not good for them. They're going to struggle. I'm going to struggle. It's going to be a price war. And and so number one is make sure it's an underserviced location. Number two. Oh, I'm getting a call. 1 second. Right. Hopefully, don't know if this is still recording. It's the first time I got a phone call on my um on my earphones when I was recording. I was like, what the hell? I've got an thing coming. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause it. My son was ringing me. I think he thinks I'm taking him to school, but it's the wife today. Right, so I'll record it, I'll pause it, and I'll get back to number two when I get back in a second. And I'm back. Sorry, there was a confusion. The wife thought I was taking the son. My son thought I was taking him. But I said, you said you was taking him. When you said you was taking him, I thought that meant you were taking him. Oh, no, it won't confirm, Dean. You mean confirm? What you want invited? What you on about? Anyway, so she's took him, and I'm back recording the podcast. Okay, so again, really sorry, really professional there. Right, number two is location. Again, I was in a meeting last week with somebody, and I was talking about location. Yes, you can open up at the minute not anywhere. You can open up self storages in a lot of different places, back of an industrial estate, and it'll still work. But I'm all in. I'm all in for good locations, for out positioning people on the main road, being as convenient as possible. Why? Because I'm in a mastermind with AJ Osborne, and the amount of times that people complain about the sites, and then we do a deep dive, we look at the site, and it's underperforming. And what's the reason? It's not on the main road anymore. And AJ always says location, location. 10 years ago, you could get away with a poor location. Now you can't. What you're going to have to do is cut your prices. You have to cut your prices in order to compete with convenience. And it's that simple. And I really, really believe that we're 10 years behind America. So what's working in America 10 years ago, or what works in America 10 years ago, is what's working right now. So a poor location is fine right now. But I'm not building for right now. I'm building for future proofing it. I'm building that one day I probably will want to sell. It's built to sell. Whether we sell it or not, it's built to sell. It's built to operate without me involved in the day-to-day runnings of the business. But whether we sell or not, I don't know. And one of the fundamental factors for how much your self-storage will be worth in the future is your location. Now, I won't look at a self-storage, buying a self-storage that isn't in a good location. If you can, I don't even want to open somewhere where I can be out-positioned. In Mansfield, we can't be out-positioned. We are on the main road. Chesterfield Road South we're on. It's opposite Tesco's just about. And there's like 2,000 cars an hour passing by. Over 20,000 cars during the daytime pass by. It is a really, really busy road. So that has to be one of the fundamental reasons why it's done so well. We've invested in signs as well, which we've never have done before. I think we spent nearly £30,000 on signs at this site, which we've never done. We've never ever done that, gone that far at a site before. Has it worked? I don't know. Is the honest answer. I don't know if there's a correlation between how well the site is filled up and the signs. There's no way of knowing. There's no way. How did you find out about us? Yeah, I saw your sign light up one day, and that was it. I was like all in. But so we don't know the ROI on the signs. But if I had to guess, I think it's had a certain impact because you can't miss us now. You can't miss us because of our signs, which have a fundamental impact on you seeing us. And so, yes, location for me is really, really important. I know most operators in the UK don't care about location at the minute, but that's where I personally differ. Because I just, and by the way, I say most operators, I think most independents don't care. But all we got to do is look at what Safe Store doing, look at what Big Yellow are doing, Shoreguard are doing, all the big ones with money. Look at the storage team, all those people, all those operators. Where are they opening? They're not opening at the back of an industrial estate because the institutional money, the pension funds, etc., the VC-backed firms, they won't want to invest in them sort of businesses. So whether you want to sell out to them sort of people or not, you've got to maximize what you do, what you get, your sales price. You've got to be aware of this. And so all we've got to do is look across and think, right, where a Safe Store opening, where a Big Yellow opening, and all we do is copy their playbook because they have spent millions on looking at sites, looking at what sites work. And if they're saying that, do you know what? Yes, we're going to pay a little bit more rent, but it's worth it because we're out-positioned everybody, then we look at that and we basically run with it. And so not only are we seeing what's played out in America, but we can also see what the big boys are doing here. So for me, I am all in with locations. You will not see me open in a shitty location ever. This new site that I keep talking about, it's in between McDonald's. Well, in between. There's McDonald's and then there's Tesco's and then there's me right across the entrance to McDonald's and Tesco's. We're across the entrance. And so I'm sure some clever person could find out where it is now, but it's an amazing location. We're outposition everybody because everybody in the area, I was going to say the place then, everybody's going to see us because there's Tesco's, there's one shared car park and we're opposite that shared car park. And so everybody's going to see us there. All we're going to do is put a sign there and boom, everybody sees us. Coming soon, Stormore. I can't wait. Right. And number 3 was, yes, it's okay that you've picked out an underserviced area and you can definitely see that it's underserviced because it's mathematics. it's binary. It's black or it's white. Is it underserviced or overserviced? We can easily work that out. It's okay finding a great location, but we also need to do our due diligence. There's no point opening. And by the way, this is in America. What we do, what you see is you get pockets. You get some areas that are £3, 3 square foot per capita, but just can't fill up. And then you get other areas like Boise in America, which has got 15 square foot per capita, and it's all full. And so some areas in America, depending on where you are, what state you are, some areas there's just not the need for self storage. I don't understand it. It's like America's so vast that some states, some areas need self storage, and you can operate with 18 square foot per capita, and other states, other areas, they can't fill up at 3 square foot per capita, which is underserviced. So then I've taken this back to the UK and I thought, okay, I don't think it's the same because in America, people move around far more than they do here. Sometimes you can see on the population graph, the population just declines for some reason. Something might have happened, some big manufacturer might have closed down, so everybody leaves. And then somebody might have opened somewhere, a big massive factory, so the population increases. And so you've got to be very, very careful in America not to open where there's just one key employer, because if that key employer moves, then so does all the staff. Where in England, yes, it does happen, but I don't think it happens to the same degree. But I still want to be mindful of it. I still want to make sure that there isn't one key employer. I still want to make sure that the population isn't on a steady decline. Because in America, don't forget, you get rural towns, rural city. Do you get rural cities? We get rural towns anyway. And um, and if a population decreases, it can decrease pretty vastly, like 40% over a couple of years. And I don't think you get that same change in England, but we still got to do our due diligence. So we've got to do our population. We've got to do with demographics. What sort of demographics are in the area? Is it there's somewhere? This is a great example. Where is it? It's where the passport is. It's where the passport office is near Newcastle. I went up there, and the population is incredible. It's underserviced for self storage. And I started looking around. I found a great location, and I did my demographics, and it's all students. There's students everywhere. Students, which would be great in the summer holidays because you fill up. But if you take away the students and then look at the demographic, you're like, oh, it's not really underserviced. In fact, it's overserviced, and we shouldn't open there. But if you just looked at if you just looked at the population without diving into the demographics, you would think, wow, look at this. There's so many people, there's so many houses, but they're all student accommodation. If you go in town, I walked around because there's nothing like actually walking around getting a feel for the place. And there's loads of visitors because of a church or cathedral or something. Where is it? I can't remember. And it's a great place, but then there's like 20 bars and they're all offering 2-for-1 cocktails at this time, happy hour for students. I'm like, wait a second. And I didn't, it was the walk around that made me think, demographics. What is it? Oh, there's a massive university here. Right. Where is it? Anyway, somebody be screaming saying, "Is there?" And so just do your due diligence. Not only do your due diligence on demographics, population, but also have a look at the other competition that you're doing mystery shops. My sister was going to open in a self-storage site, and it fell. I'm actually opening where it is it, but for one reason or other, she didn't go ahead with it, and I couldn't believe that she didn't go around and look at the other sites and see if they're full or not. I was like, oh my goodness, what? You've got to go around. You've got to put in the hard graft. I know this place that we're opening, I know that every location is full, or it was when I did the due diligence one was about to sign. Obviously, it'll be up and down, but I'm okay with that now. I know that there was a waiting list. I was speaking to somebody on the phone. He said, I'm really sorry. We're full at the minute. There's a waiting list. I said, how long's the waiting list going to be? Just I'm really desperate. And he goes, oh, I'm really hard to see. There's a couple of people in front of you. And just talk to them. Just find out as much information. And I was like wetting myself. I was like, not wetting myself literally, but I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, there's a waiting list. So, I just, is it going to be a month? Is it going to be two? It's hard to say because there's a couple of people in front of you, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh my God, there's people in front of me. This is amazing. And they've only been open like 9 months, this new site. And I was like, I can't believe there's a waiting list. And they're not in a great location. Oh, we definitely um, can get in a better location. We are in a better location, so we outposition them, no problem. So it was really, really exciting. So find, make sure that you do your due diligence with your competition. How much are they charging? Because you might find that it might be full, but they're charging ridiculous rates. They might be charging like £7 per square foot, and so that's why they're full. So we just got to make sure that we look at the competition, do the due diligence, and that's what we did in Mansfield. Not only was everywhere high percentage full, but they was charging really good rates, like £25 per square foot. And that's not even after you do revenue management. That's £25 per square foot, actually website prices. I was like, my God, this place is going to be great. Even if there's a price where we have to go to £20 per square foot, this works. This just works. So make sure you do your due diligence, but not only that, make sure you figure out what price per square foot is attainable, is achievable. And then I always say, do the best case, do the middle case, and do the worst case. And then just do your cash flows based on your worst case. So I did my cash flows based on £16 per square foot. And I thought, there's no way they're getting £25 per square foot. There's no way I won't be able to get £16 per square foot. And we did it filling up over like 5 years. I think we're 4 years in front now. So yeah, we just got to do that. So I'm trying to look at my notes now. The price per square foot we're getting was awesome. Yep, been through that. If I could, so if I could replicate just what they're doing, even though we're in a better location and a better self storage facility because we're newer, then I knew that we was going to be fine, even if we just replicated them. But I did the cash flows on worse than them. But not only that, I knew the competition was just about full self storage in rocket science. I put to recap: find an underserviced area, tick. Find a great location in that area, tick. Mystery shop the competition to find out as much possible information as possible, tick. That's it. Self storage isn't complicated. What's your tip finding a self storage site? PS, just underline. Don't be looking at Mansfield to open a self storage. It's saturated now, over serviced, boom. There's literally tons of underserviced. Yeah, there is, honestly, it's just about taking the time, having a look, putting the work in, putting the effort in. And this is what I enjoy doing. I love doing it. Hopefully, in the next few months, things are going to be changing in Stormore a little bit, where I will have more time just to do this, just to drive around, find underset. That'll be my full-time job. We'll be trying to find sites. Ultimately, my aim is to open 15 sites by the end of this year. I mean, we're at 6.5. And so to have 7, to open another 8 is going to take some doing. But there's no point in having aims if you can't, if you they're easy to achieve because it's not really an aim, is it? So if I'm going to do that, then I need to find sites and I need to be on the road as much as possible, looking at different areas. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that's what I'll be doing, and I'll be able to tell you about more sites. But yeah, please don't think there's everywhere saturated now, because we've got such an opportunity now with self storage, such an opportunity that you'll look back in 5 years and think, oh my God, there's self storage in every bloody corner. There's more self storage than McDonald's. And by the way, I can't remember the stats. But we do have an amazing opportunity, and in 5 years' time, I promise you, if you look for self storage now, find a self storage now, you'll be so glad you did. I mean, I don't know why I'm telling everybody to don't look for self storage. It's a terrible business model. Anyway, that's it for me today. Right, I love you, I appreciate you, and I will see you. I will see you tomorrow. All right, my friends, love you, appreciate you. Bye.